Hello everyone, happy Friday, yay, it's finally Friday. I must apologise about the brightness on my phone. I have kind of turned up the brightness on my phone a bit. I don't know which one's which on brightness on this phone because it's a bit stupid, but I set it to like 1 or yours so that it could be a bit more brighter than it already is, because for some reason it looked a bit dim and dark, and my brightness isn't usually that bright. I mean, that dark when you put the camera on. It's kind of weird. So if it's a bit bright, that's the reason, because I don't like my when I'm filming, I don't like my brightness to be like turned down, because it looks really dark and dim, if you know what I mean. And it looks like really stupid when you're filming a video. And plus, I try to sit here at this like kind of camera position, because I have tried different ones in the past when I've been filming on like a different like camera. And like one time I sat on the floor and did it on the floor, and then there's another time I did it in a different position, but it was too dark there, so I've changed my positions up each time when I've been filming. And this one only seemed, this position, obviously I lean my camera against my PS4 so that it doesn't fall over. But I always seem to think this position is good because the brightness from outside is more bright. So, yeah. But anyway, today is just a really quick video, really. I'm going to be doing another book reading video. I haven't done one in a long ass time. I know I've got a lot of book series on the go at the minute, and I haven't gone back to them at any point, and I will try to when I get the chance to, and I keep introducing new books to this, like, to my channel and reading them and everything else. But I'm sorry about that. Obviously I will get round to my book series at the minute, which is Dante's Inferno, The Red Necklace by Sally Gardner, The Phantom, and Bring the Fire series, which is the first one. I will do those at a later date. Obviously I'll probably do more of Dante's Inferno, if anything, and The Red Necklace, because they're the ones I haven't done more of. It just seems to be other ones. I have been doing a new one recently, which was The Phantom. So this one's a new book that I really am interested in, and the other day I was watching a video on YouTube of Tom Hiddleston reading the original book and manuscript of The Night Manager, because I can't find the original Night Manager book. You'd have to get it on copy of a book, you'd have to get it on paperback, which is the original, and I think Tom has the original because he was probably giving it to him on like when he was doing like Night Manager, and to like sort of look at and like read, and because he has the original books anyway, because he's all into reading books and stuff. But obviously I was watching a thing on YouTube of Tom Hiddleston reading John Le Carre's The Night Manager, and I found it really interesting, because he had the original copy of the John Le Carre's like Night Manager, because he had it on paperback. Mine is not on paperback. Mine looks different to the paperback version because it has a lion on it, and it says Penguin Classics on it and stuff. Because I can't find the original one, I'd have to buy it for real and get it delivered to me, which I might do that at some point actually, because then I can have the original. But I don't know if I get the original. We'll have to see. It might just be the one that I've already got. But I find it really interesting because obviously, as you know, Tom Hiddleston, I love Tom Hiddleston reading. He's got the most deep, sexy ass voice ever, and I think everybody will agree because everyone listens to Tom Hiddleston's audiobooks. Like recently Tom's done audiobooks for the Red Necklace, which is Sally Gardner's, but I've read the story and the book. And also he read a bit of John Le Carre's The Night Manager, and he's done like poetry, read poetry from somewhere, and he's done like he did a book reading of, I don't know what it's called, but it's a book that I was actually watching him read, and it's he kind of had different accents as he was like reading it, cause like Tom Hiddleston is really good at like accents and like he can do impressions of other people. Especially like he can do different voices from the book, because he actually added all the different characters to the voices in the actual redneck because of how they would sound. That's why when I did it, mine was a bit shit, but it interests me. Then obviously I do know, obviously there's the John Le Carre, the night manager, from the TV. There's a TV series of John Le Carre as the night manager. Obviously it originates from the actual series. The TV series originates from the actual book itself. And I've only watched about 2-3 episodes of that, of the actual night manager, which is the first series, which is interesting because I think I watched a certain one, and the certain one I watched was where he was having sex with this woman, because he actually conflicts between a lot of women in the series, like Tom, because Tom obviously plays the night manager himself, which is Johnathan Pine, and basically the night manager TV series is exactly like the book. And it's basically about Johnathan Pine is a secret agent spy, a bit like James Bond, you would say, or MI5 or something like that. But he's a secret spy, and he works in a hotel. He works as like a hotel manager, or like works in a hotel somewhere. He's like disguised as different people so that no one knows who he actually really is, because he works for the British intelligence, which is like a spy agency. And he ends up getting his, like, obviously he ends up conflicting with all his people, but he ends up nearly killing all of his, like, killing some of the people from, like, the hotel. I don't know, I was reading a bit of it, like, just then, just to see what it was about. But if you've never seen The Night Manager, you know, the TV series, you should definitely watch it, because I actually at first, I think that was the first ever time dog, shut up, there's a dog barking, sorry guys, and I really hate noise in my video, but obviously there was, what was I saying now, that dog interrupted what I said, what I was saying, but yeah, I'm trying to think what I was going to say. It was about fucking the night manager. But yeah, in the TV series, it's really good. And I was going to say something about the TV series, actually, and it's just gone on now completely because of that stupid dog barking and telling it to shut up. But the TV series is the same as the book itself, because I have a different copy of the book, and my charger is falling out, and if this Kindle can't die, but I don't think this is the original like book that Tom Hiddleston, oh yeah, that was it, I was saying that I think the Night Manager was the first ever like series that I remember watching, and I was watching it with my sister. And this was at the time I wasn't into Tom Hiddleston, but I am now. I actually fancy him now. But at the time, my sister used to like, obviously my sister likes Tom Hiddleston as well as me as well, but I don't know whether she does or not, but she put on The Night Manager, which has got Tom Hiddleston in it. And at the time, this was at the time I wasn't really into Tom Hiddleston as such, and I didn't find him this gorgeous, attractive person. There's a dog barking, she'd shut up. And it was on the TV at the time, and my sister was saying, oh, let's watch The Night Manager, and I was like, I don't want to watch this, what's this? Because I didn't get it. Part of me just didn't get the TV series at all. So I kind of had it on and I didn't really understand it. If someone had told me what it was about, I would have gone, oh, well, this seems interesting, you know. but no one mentioned what it was about. So it's like I'm sat there watching it and I actually don't find it one bit interesting, and I also didn't get the characters in the TV series, and I just didn't get it, and I thought, who's this Tom Hiddleston? And I remember saying to my sister, because she said, oh, Tom Hiddleston's so attractive, and da 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 da, and I remember saying, no he's not. I said he's not attractive, because I used to fancy a lot of celebrity. I used to have a lot of celebrity crushes back in my day. I used to fancy a lot of people, like I used to fancy Robbie Williams when I was very, very young. I used to find Robbie Williams very attractive at one point. I don't now, I've gone off him now, but I remember at one point when I was young I used to find Robbie Williams attractive. And whenever he used to come on the TV, my mum was like, oh, look, it's your boyfriend, you know, the one that you fancy. I used to like Robbie Williams when I was younger. Then I started liking Justin Timberlake. He was another celebrity artist, like singing artist. I used to like Justin Timberlake. I got to liking Justin Timberlake because there's a certain song called AO Technology which he does with Timbaland and 50 Cent, and I found that song really awesome, and I started getting attracted to Justin Timberlake, so I actually found him attractive. I don't anymore. I used to. I had a crush. I think I still do have a crush. I had a crush on one of the Take That members from Take That, who isn't a Take That member anymore, and it's just 3 of them now. It's just 3 of the 3 Take That people who are in the band, like Gary Barlow, Mark Owen, and Howard. I think it's called Howard. And they're the only 3 members that are left in Take That, because Rob Williams used to be in that, and another Take That member was in it, but he left. He was obviously Jason Orange. Jason Orange was like a person I used to fancy from Take That. He originally was in Take That like back in the day, but now he left Take That for reasons. I think he left Take That for reasons, but also I always used to think he wasn't really that much involved in Take That, but vocally and stuff. But anyway, back to my story about Tom Hiddleston. So but obviously I had different kind of like celebrity crushes back in the day, and I didn't really fancy, you know, Tom Hiddleston. I didn't find him attractive. I found him like unattractive. I wasn't really into him, and I've said this story before on some of my videos. Like, I never used to like Tom Hiddleston from the very beginning until eventually it must have been an interview, or it must have been something on YouTube, or it must have been a film I was watching on TV, but I started to slowly get attractive to Tom Hiddleston, and it was just the way he was. It must have been like an interview that he did on YouTube, and I watched it all the way through, and I don't know, I kind of like sort of had my eyes on him and thought, actually this guy isn't so bad, and I kind of get him a bit more as an actor and as a person, because I just didn't get him as an actor or person, and I started to get slowly attracted to him. And then this big massive obsession came along, as you know, and everybody knows that Fran is obsessed with Tom Hiddleston, and I think a lot of people are, like my friend Kelsey, who I know, who I talk to all the time, and I met her. She loves Tom Hiddleston. I've met a lot of Tom Hiddleston's fans who actually adore him and think he's the most gorgeous man in the universe, and stuff. So that's when I started to get attracted to him. So I actually don't really understand the storyline of The Night Manager from the beginning, but as I've been watching it, I've been watching some of the like episodes with Jeff, and that's because I chose to, and I actually think I've not watched all the episodes, but I kind of do like The Night Manager, only because Tom Hiddleston's in it more. I think, to be honest, if he weren't in it and he met Johnathan Pine, I don't think anyone would watch it. Because actually I took a quiz not too long ago, and it said, which Tom Hiddleston character would you date, or something like that, and I got Johnathan Pine from The Night Manager. He's not my favourite character, he's not my favourite Tom Hiddleston character. My favourite, I'd say he's one of my favourites because I do like him, but I'd have to say my favourite character is probably the two characters that sort of have the same ego and the same characteristics. Because I always think Loki, I love Loki. He's like one of my favourite Tom Hiddleston characters, because I always think he's in associate. I always think Loki is like Tom's like after ego, like his evil twin secretly. And I think if you had them both in the same room, it'd be like an interesting conversation. You know, it'd be like, oh, I want to rule the world, and he'd be like, well, you know, like I feel like Tom Hiddleston's like a therapist for Loki. Like if Loki came into a therapist, and he has actually spoke about this in an interview, I think, once, if he was actually a therapist of Loki, I think he'd actually help him. And because I think Loki is a misunderstood character, and everyone can say he's misunderstood. Like every evil character you've ever seen in films, they're evil because they have a reason to be evil. But Loki is evil because he's a misunderstood person, and no one really loves him as a person. Like no one loves him. Like he thinks his brother doesn't love him, and his brother wants to take over the throne, and he wants to take over the throne. Just no one. He doesn't really have a major real family background around him, and he's just a misunderstood, mischievous person. So I wouldn't say he's evil, but he is evil. But he is misunderstood in many ways, and I love Loki. I love evil characters anyway, so it doesn't have to be Loki. I like the Joker as well, and he has a very interesting background, but I'm not talking about fucking character backgrounds or like the different characters, but I have to say my favourite character I do like Johnathan Pine, because Johnathan Pine's character is very, very strong. He's a very strong person and comes across as a strong person, and he works for the British intelligence as well, and just seems an interesting man. So I do like him, I suppose, but he's not my favourite Tom Hiddleston character, but I can kind of see why they put me with him, because my characteristics probably matches. And obviously John Le Carre, if you don't know who John Le Carre is, he's a British author actually. So it says about the author here that John Le Carre was born in 1931 and attended the universities of Burn and Oxford. He taught at Alton and served briefly in British intelligence during the Cold War. For the last 50 years he was lived by his pen. He divides his time between London and Cornwall. So I can kind of see, I can kind of see why Tom Hiddleston kind of like thinks John Le Carre is a bit of a genius, because I would say he doesn't read a lot of books, Tom Hiddleston, but he has said in interviews that John Le Carre is a brilliant author, and how he like based the book upon the series is really cool. He actually has done a lot of other books as well, which I'd love to read. There's the only one I know from the books is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. He wrote that book, the original book of that. The only reason why I can see why Tom and him are like, you know, I don't know, did they have the same background and stuff? I mean, maybe that's something I can talk about in a blog, to be honest. I can talk about Tom Hiddleston's different characteristics and characters in one of my videos sometime, because I think it'd be interesting to talk about. I know I don't want to bore people and talk about it in this video, because this is just, it's supposed to be a quick video about, you know, me reading this wonderful book. But this is John Le Carre's The Night Manager. I basically briefly explained it. It's about a person called Johnathan Pine. If you've watched the series, you'll kind of get what the book is based upon, the actual series. And it's about secret intelligence spy named Johnathan Pine who works as a night manager by night, and then he's like a hotel assistant in the hotel something. Anyway, so we're going to start reading this. I'm only going to do chapter 1 for how long I can do, and we'll stop at a certain point. So I hope you enjoy me reading this book. I will do my other book series at a later date. And if you like this video, give this video a like, and if you are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you're updated about new videos. So let us begin. On a snow-swept January evening of 1991, Johnathan Pine, the English night manager of the Hotel Maester Palace in Zurich, forsook his office behind the reception desk. In the grip of feeling he had not known before, took up his position in the lobby as a prelude to extending the hotel's welcome to a distinguished late arrival. The Gulf War had just begun. Throughout the journeys of the Allied bombings, discreetly relayed by the staff, had caused consternation on the Zurich Stock Exchange. Hotel bookings which in any January were low, had sunk to the crisis levels. Once more in her long history, Switzerland was under siege, but the Maester Palace was equal to the challenge over all Zurich. Meesters, as the hotel was affectionately known to taxi drivers and habitués, presided physically and traditionally alone, a sad Edwardian aunt perched on her own hilltop, gazing down on the folly of hectic urban life. The more things changed in the valley, the more Meesters stared at herself, unbending in her standards, a bastion of civilized style in a world intent on going to the devil. Johnathan's point of vantage was a small recess between the hotel's 2 elegant showcases, both of them displaying ladies' fashions. The dell of the Bahnhof Strande was offering a stable stole over a female dummy, whose only other protection was a gold blinky bottom and a pair of coral earrings, priced on application to the concierge. The glamour against the use of animal furs these days, is as vocal in Zurich as in other cities of the Western world, but the Maester Palace paid it not a blind bit of notice. The second showcase by Caesar, likewise of the Bahnhof Strande, referred to cater for the Arab taste, with a tabloid of luscious embroidered gowns and dynamite turbans and jewelled wristwatches at 60,000 francs a shot, franked by these wayside shrines to luxury. Johnathan was able to keep a crisp eye on the swing doors. He was a compact man, but tentative, with a smile of apologetic self-protection. Even his Englishness was a well-kept secret. He was a nimble, and in his prime of life, if you were a sailor you might have spotted him for another. Recognised the deliberate economy of his movements, the caged placing of the feet, one hand always for the boat. He had trimmed curled hair and pugless thick brow. The pallor of his eyes caught you by surprise. You unexpected more challenge from him, heavy shadows, and his mildness of manner within a fighter's frame gave him a troubling intensity. You would never think that your stay in the hotel confused him with anybody else, not with her streepily, the creamy haired front of house manager, not with one of Herr Maser's superior young Germans who strode through the place like gods on their way to stardom somewhere else. As a hoteler, Johnathan was complete. You did not wonder who his parents were, or whether he listened to music or kept a wife and children or a dog. His gaze as he watched the door was ready as a marksman. He wore a carnation. At night he always did. The snow, even for the time of year, was formidable. Fat billows swept across the lightened forecourt like white waves in a tempest. The Cassiers, alerted for a grand arrival, stared expectantly into a blizzard. Roper will never make it, Johnathan thought. Even if they let this plane take off, it can never have landed in his weather. Herr Casper has got it wrong, but Herr Casper, the head concierge, had never got anything wrong in his life. When Herr Casper breathed a rival impediment over the internal speaker, over a continental optimist, could imagine that the client's plane had been diverted. Besides, why else would Herr Casper by presiding at this hour except for a big spender? There was a time, for Loring had told Johnathan, when Herr Casper would maim by 2 francs and strangle for 5, but old age is a different state these days. Only the richest pickings were able to lure Herr Casper from the pleasures of the evening television. Hotel's full up, I'm afraid, Mr. Roper, Johnathan rehearsed in another last-ditch effort to fend off the inedible. Herr Meister is desolated. A temporary clerk has made an unpardonable error. However, he had managed to obtain rooms for you at the ball Ardlank at Critiara. Yeah, that's kind of fucking French. Thank you very much for adding that in, or whatever it is. But that wishful fantasy too was stillborn. There was not a giant great hotel in Europe tonight that boasted more than 50 guests. The wealthiest of the earth were bravely hugging the ground, with the one exception of Richard Olslaw Roper, trader of Nassau, the Bahamas. Johnathan's hands stiffened, and he instinctively flicked his elbows as if to ready them for combat. A car, a Mercedes by his radiator, had entered the forecourt. The beams of his headlights choked with swirling snowflakes. He saw Herr Casper's serenal head lift, and the chandelier glint on his promenade rivers. The car had parked on the far side of the forecourt. A taxi, a mere city cab, and no one. Herr Casper's head, now glowing with apoplectic light, sank forward as he resumed his study of the closing stock prices. In his relief, Johnathan allowed himself a ghostly smile of recognition. The wig, the immortal wig. Herr Casper's 140,000 franc crown, the pride of every classic concierge in Switzerland. Herr Casper's William Tell of a wig, Frau Loring called it. The wig that had dared to raise itself in revolt against a millionaire deposit. Madame Archiette. Perhaps to concentrate his mind while it was tearing him in so many directions, or perhaps because he found in the story some hidden deviance to his predicament, reverence to his predicament. Johnathan recounted it to himself, yet again, exactly as Frau Loring, the head housekeeper, had recounted it at the first time she made him cheese fondue in her attic. Frau Loring was at 75 and came from Hamburg. She had been Herr Meister's nanny, and as rumour had it, Herr Meister's father's mistress. She was the keeper of the leg head of the wig, its living witness. I'm gonna stop my reading at that point, guys, because I don't want this video too long, and we have read some of the book, but this is practically the beginning of the book. I don't know what bit Tom Hiddleston read in this book. I think it must have been halfway through, because he only read bits and pieces of the story, but I found it very interesting, and I wanted to do a video of me reading the John Le Carre as a night manager, because I find the book interesting as well as the series. But yeah, the book is based upon the series, if anyone's wondering that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed me reading this. I know this video was only supposed to be quick and I made it 10 times longer than it is, but with my book reading sometimes, depending on how much I get through in my video, you know, yeah, you know, like, depending on how much I get through with it, I sort of do only some time with it, reading it. Sorry, my mind keeps going blank as I'm talking, but anyway, at that further note, I will end my video off here. I'm sorry if this video has been really long, and I don't mean to bore people, but I think I will at some point try and do like a video sort of going through all of Tom Hiddleston's characters and his characteristics and the characteristics of each character, and sort of like put my opinions across of what they're all based upon, you know what I mean, like, because I want to do something like that because it sounds interesting. But I came up with the idea, of course, because I always come up with ideas, and it's only a good reason to just start talking about Tom Hiddleston. But if you've not seen the series of John Le Carre's The Night Manager, then obviously don't be afraid to watch it because it's really interesting, and Tom Hiddleston plays Johnathan as always. So anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this book reading. I will at some point do my other book series as well as this kind of a new book series. I might carry on doing this, I don't know. I just thought I'd do it. But anyway, all of you enjoy your Friday today and enjoy your weekend ahead, because we are on to Friday today. Yay! So enjoy your Friday today guys, and enjoy your weekend so far, and I will see you all later. Bye bye.